what are normal, healthy relationships? I read this question in your comments, and I understand that we have no guidelines at all on where to go, how to build these normal, healthy relationships, because all around us we only see examples of toxic relationships. And today I will give you 10 signs of normal, healthy relationships that you can use as a guide. Of course, having all 10 points is, well, an ideal, right? But if you see that you have about half of these points in your relationship, then you can consider that you are moving in the right direction. With you is me, psychologist Yuliia Latunenko. And for almost 19 years now, I have been working as a psychologist, a family psychologist, an individual psychologist, and I also help people with psychosomatic illnesses. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and are visiting for the first time, please subscribe. There's a lot of interesting content here. Comment, give a like to this video. Any of your activity is very valuable to me and my channel. And right away, let's get to our topic. What are the signs of healthy relationships? And in the first place, I put financial independence, because if partners create financial dependency, which is also a form of codependency, sooner or later, one partner will feel the desire to somehow control and dominate the other partner. And the partner who is financially dependent constantly feels a sense of shame and guilt when he or she asks for money for their needs, and might even have to report on what it was spent. And well, here arises a story about control and power of the partner who has money over the other partner. Therefore, I advise all partners who are building such, as it were, partnership relationships to still strive for their own financial independence. It is not necessary for the wife and husband to earn equally or be on the same financial level. It may happen that one of the partners earns less, someone earns more, a little less, a little more, yes. Or in the case when, well, in our society, it has already happened that women can earn less, but men cannot earn less. Although I believe that this is not very correct. And yet there are periods in life for men as well when they lose their jobs, when a woman who supports and loves her husband can back up the family and, well, somehow manage the situation herself until the man finds a new job. Well, you know, there was once a person named Satya Das who was like a psychologist. Not exactly a psychologist, I'm not sure what to call him, but he was very flamboyant. And he would instill in women the idea that if a man, that in general a woman should not earn money, and if she does, it's just, you know, for herself. And he would say that from a woman's perspective, the money a man earns is our money. But the money I earn myself, that's my money. And this is fundamentally wrong. It shouldn't be like that. I believe that even if a man earns, say, 5 times more than his wife, still in percentage terms, like 1-4 or 1-5, because you should both contribute to the family budget. So that this part, yes, in proportion, if you understand what I'm saying, it's just mathematics. The proportion of your personal contribution to the budget should be the share that your monthly salary represents of your partner's salary. And that will be correct. And each partner should know that if something happens, I can support myself, I support myself, and if there are children, I can support the children. If something happens to the partner, anything can happen in life. I have seen many women who lost their husbands and never worked. They are already 55. She howls like a wolf, a she-wolf, yes, and goes to clean toilets. Because, well, she never worked. She doesn't know how to earn money. This is a very dramatic fate. And that's why I advise having some sort of financial history, yes, your own financial security, just in case. And this essentially prevents one partner from manipulating the other. Because when one partner knows that the other has nowhere to go because they are financially dependent, you can't just go out on the street. It's a very big temptation, and few can resist it. So it's better not to start with this at all, but to invest, as I said, in a proportional way in the family budget. So that it doesn't turn out like, in Satya Das, where a woman is some kind of special being, right, who has this privileged right, like, my money is my money, and your money is our money. It sounds very strange in my opinion. Or the other side of the same coin, when a man doesn't want his wife to work and says, oh my God, your monthly salary is what I bring home in a day, so why do you need to work at all? Stay there, cook borscht. And this is also such a patriarchal model where a woman's place is somewhere in the kitchen. Yes, the man earns the money, so he is the king and God. And this gives him the opportunity to again have control over his wife and manipulate her. That is, maybe it's the wife who says, just stay at home. We don't hear that. Yes, we hear it more from men. I believe that if we are building healthy relationships, they should be a partnership-based and built on a foundation of equality. I work, you work. I know that I can support myself in any case, no matter what happens, right? And you know that you support yourself. And if we have children, we are responsible for the children. Again, in terms of the percentage ratio of his and her salary. Of course, I don't suggest you sit with a calculator, because in a couple building a partnership, it feels somehow real. It's all approximate. That's it. And I immediately want to move on to the second point, the second sign of normal, healthy relationships. It's the everyday life. That very everyday life that has destroyed many families. And I believe that partners should invest in this thankless work, let's say, still approximately equally. If she cooked, he will help wash the dishes. If they have a dishwasher, that's good, wonderful. Then he will go vacuum and she will mop the floor. Or if the partners don't like doing this, they hire people and pay for the services, yes. But they invest in everyday life approximately equally. Similarly, the third point, if they have children, they raise the children, again, on a partnership basis, equally. There is this, this idea in society that when children are born, it's something feminine, right? So in our case, it's the woman who raises the children. Well, when children are born and the dad goes, to work, comes home and lies down on the couch with a can of beer, the children are around him, but he doesn't pay attention to them. And this is a traumatic factor for the children. The dad should still communicate with the children, pay attention to them, read and play with them, just like the mother does, because children need both parents. In other words, both partners are involved in raising the children. The next point, the fourth. In the relationship, words like no and stop are freely accepted. In other words, you don't feel that you might offend your partner with these words. And you feel that you have the full right, if you don't want to do something, to refuse or ask to postpone it if you can't do it right now. That is, well, if you say a sincere no to your partner, then all your yes will also be sincere. There should be no violence in the relationship. But as we often see, a partner doesn't want to do something right, they can't refuse, they do it, force themselves. Then anger accumulates, and it eventually explodes in the form of a very destructive argument. Therefore, I believe that we should say no and stop at the moment when we feel that our boundaries need a little, well, a reinforcement right when they are being broken down. Let me give you an example. For instance, a wife wants to share some news with her husband, but he is very tired, having just come home from work, and he needs some quiet time. He sits down, drinks tea, and Orm says, well, I'll just have some tea now, have dinner. And she immediately unloads all her emotions on him. Why do we do this? Why is it that when we call a stranger on the phone, we politely ask, can you talk right now? Is it convenient for you right now? But in close relationships, for some reason, we don't ask in what state our partner came home from work, right? We don't take an interest in their feelings, we just need to unload everything immediately. So, I suggest that for healthy relationships, we should ask our partner, take an interest in each other's state, feelings, and needs. Because there is only one definition of love, which is that love is a form of paying attention to another person, nothing else. Attention to their needs, to their feelings, curiosity about the inner world of the person. Considering their state, we can somehow align it with ours. Problems, emotions. We can talk about each other's emotions. And this is a very important point, because as much as I observe the couples who come to me, the problem is that they live on some level where only verbs are used. I did this, I went there. But on the level of feelings, they do not communicate. That is, no one is interested in how you feel when I do this, right? When I, for example, say to you, no, my dear, not today, right? But how do you react to this, right? I want to know all your feelings. Yes, we spend some time on this. But this is very desirable for everyone, for every person, but well, because we all like it when someone shows interest in us, when there is concern, when we are not ignored. Therefore, such an emotional exchange should exist in a couple. And closeness is when I let you into my territory. But at the same time, I do not lose my sense of autonomy. That is, I do not lose the feeling that I have personal boundaries. But I let you in, I can merge with you, yes, and then separate from you. The fifth sign is that partners have well-established boundaries with their parental families. That is, no one imposes their parents on the other. Parents do not interfere in the life of the young family. Parents are also freely told no and stop, and there is no feeling of guilt towards the parents for having your own boundaries, for having your own family. No one forces anyone to be friends with the mother or to visit during holidays. Here, if you don't want to and don't wish to, you can freely and openly refuse. We say, no, I don't want this, or yes, I want this. But many families that I observe and who seek help force themselves with these visits to their parental families. And so, for example, sometimes it happens that the wife says, well, he wants me to go to my mom's. And no, in this case, well, it's not up for discussion, right? And this happens in cases where the wife is financially dependent, then the husband forces her to do something. And it would be right to have the right to say no without any offense. So the sixth point is coming up, the sixth sign, but I'll remind you, we've already reached the middle, halfway through. I remind you that I really appreciate your subscriptions, your comments, your likes are very valuable. So the sixth sign. Partners do everything for each other only out of love, voluntarily. Not because I'm afraid that he or she will be offended. Partners do not use each other because they want to. They wish to do something to please their partner. Because besides that, love is also about actions. It's our deeds, the actions we take that make our partner feel good. But at the same time, we do not forget. We do not forget about ourselves. We do not become victims because we have the right, for example, when we are very tired or something has happened. Yes, we can say no, but it exists somewhere in balance. Yes, we can say no and do something. But at the same time, we are sensitive to ourselves. Can I do this now? Will this not violate, my boundaries? My physical boundaries right now. Therefore, relationships do not turn into a trade-off. I will do something for you, and then I will expect you to do something for me too, because I already have some kind of commercial plan. Yes, I did this for you, and I didn't want to, and almost violated my own boundaries, made soup for you. And when I was very tired, do I now expect something special from you in return? When you give something from a place of scarcity, you expect that this scarcity will somehow be compensated, that the partner will give back to you. Yes, love is not a one-sided game. But I emphasize once again that partners do things for each other not out of scarcity, but out of abundance, out of love. I want to care for my partner, and it's not difficult for me. If I do this sincerely out of love, I won't even think that he owes me something. And it all, like yin and yang, happens smoothly, because in the highest sense of the word, love is giving. It's some kind of action, right? Some kind of deed towards the partner. The seventh point, the seventh sign. In such a couple, there are no resentments because there are no expectations. I mentioned in the previous point, right, that when we expect something for the partner to do for us, right, we've already built some images, right, of how it should be. Then resentment arises. But Bonro's resentment arises because we have the notion that the partner owes us something. And here we smoothly transition to the eighth point, the eighth sign. No one owes anything to anyone. Everything is done only voluntarily, as I already mentioned, for the sake of love, for the sake of making your loved one feel good being with you, but without coercion, without sacrifice. Attention to oneself should also be present. And it's like, the ratio of yes and no in a couple. It approximately balances out, right? No and yes, and it somehow smoothly, you feel that you have harmony. When you know that your partner loves you, right? When you know that they want to do something nice for you, you will react more easily to their no. The ninth sign. Each partner has an area of life where the other partner is not involved. That is, each has job, circle of friends, maybe their own, right? Well, it's not always the case that there is a shared circle of friends. They can be separate friends, indeed. And there might be a hobby, right? And here, the partner respects your areas of life where you are not present, right? You cannot interfere there, intrude with your advice, comments, right? The partner may sincerely share something with you, but you do not criticize or impose your opinion on them regarding this. That's it. So when you want to give some advice, you ask your partner, can I give you some? Do you think it's necessary to hear my advice, Mrs. Bob, my opinion right now? Do you need it right now? Or do you just want me to be there with you, listen and just hug you? Or if I'm speaking from a female perspective, yes, because I am a woman. But men, please don't write comments saying I'm sexist. I am already trying to tell you in every video that my videos don't have any kind of gender, such coloring. So listen, when I say she, you hear he. When I say he, you hear she. Because, well, if we are talking about toxic relationships, they don't know any gender. Women can also be toxic. So please just learn to listen in reverse, the other way around. Yes, as they say, we listen in reverse. The 10th sign. In a healthy couple, there are no phenomena such as reproaches, condemnation, devaluation, manipulation, intimidation, blackmail, threats, pressure, well, all these. Devaluation, yes, none of these toxic things. Instead, there are only requests with the right given to the partner to say no, to refuse. So why are we doing all this at all? Why do all these toxic things happen in a couple? Because we don't want to hear the word no and start manipulating either through shame or guilt. And this reduces the risk of you hearing no. But you just need to ask, because behind every reproach, every remark, every rebuke, devaluation and judgment, there is simply your need. You just need to articulate what you want from your partner and simply ask them. That's it. Assuming such a scenario in your relationship, the partner has the right to refuse. Well, here we are, those 10 signs have already been covered. But while I was preparing for the video, I noted down 10, but there will actually be 12 signs. I came up with 2 more points, and here's the 11th. In a couple, a healthy couple, besides children or shared property, there are also some common interests, something that unites the partners. This could be a hobby or a joint activity or some shared entertainment, right? It's some shared value of this partnership, right? That the partners reproduce in their lives. If a couple only shares children and property, it eventually turns into a big drama for the couple, because children grow up someday. Property and money also eventually stop being so interesting with age, and you find yourselves with each other asking, why are we together? Right? So we see many such divorces when people have lived together for 20 to 30 years, and then the children have grown up, and there's no reason to stay together. But that's already an age when separating is very difficult. You have already gotten used to each other, or they live and drive each other crazy in codependency. And the 12th point we have is very interesting. In the couple, no one doesn't control each other. No one wants to engulf someone else. In the couple, there is a balance of closeness and distance, because relationships, couple relationships, are a process of not stagnating. And this process can be compared to breathing. When we inhale, we merge together. And this can be, as I said, shared activities, shared hobbies. It can be sex, yes, or eating. Together when the whole family gathers at the table, yes, and you talk. And here the we emerges. But if you inhale and don't exhale, then the organism, which is also the family, is an organism, yes. It's a system. It starts to collapse, like a person who inhales but doesn't exhale. Therefore, you need to exhale as well, and you exhale, and here you go attending to your own matters. This is about what I mentioned, that there are areas where your partner is not present. Therefore, the exhale is when you know you have a partner who loves you, but the we has somewhat faded into the background, and two I's have emerged. Then again, inhale, exhale, right? Because love is breathing, it's a process, it's life. Subscribe to my channel, like this video if you enjoyed it, and also share it on social media. This incredibly helps to promote my channel across YouTube.